Hey guys, it's Jack, and with summer just around the corner, do you, your family, or any friends have a beach trip planned on your calendar? Uh, Worried about what might be waiting for you? Well, in this picture right here, as you can see, um, is a great white shark, and if you've ever seen the movie Jaws and heard about shark attacks around the world, you're not alone considering that sharks are the universal symbol of human fear. But although most people believe sharks are the ocean predator and may fear that they need to be killed or extinct, uh, their loss in the food chain could throw off the entire ocean ecosystem in the U.S. around the world. Today, what I want to do is try to tell you why we need sharks and how the practice of shark finning is threatening shark populations and what conservatives around the world are doing to kind of help this. So this next slide I want to show you is about statistics and how they're more likely to be killed by a lightning strike than bitten by a shark, and more likely to be killed by a dog than a shark attack. And these are non-fatal attacks and fatal attacks, which is pretty crazy when you think about it, because I didn't even know that was true when I first started doing my research. This next picture I want to show you is sharks have long been feared and sometimes idolized by men. The Kamehameha Hawaiian gods of sharks were worshipped by the Hawaiian peoples and for many, many years and looked up to them as gods. And Watson Slide at Cortesia National Gallery of Art in 1776 shows him originally shark finning and what they would do to these sorts of animals. But next slide I want to show you is scientifically there is so much more we need to learn about sharks and how their wounds heal so fast and why they don't get cancer. Could you imagine an ocean without sharks? It'd be like Africa without lions. And in this picture, you can see a lion is the dominant apex predator in the jungle and in the wild safari, while a shark in the ocean is the apex predator would have the same effects in the safari and the lion's ecosystem as it would in the sharks. So shark finning is basically just what it is. They take their dorsal fins, their back fins. I'll show you this slide, and they cut them off, and that's what it looks like when they get definned. And growing up, I spent most of my summers in Delaware and Maryland, so I became fascinated by sharks, and I started following this social media page called the Nakoi Project Global, and it's a nonprofit organization, and they travel around the world filming a documentary called Game Over Fishing, and it just pretty much tries to reveal and uncover scandals about shark finning. It has one of the world's top scientists, such as Dr. Sylvia Earle and Dr. Enric Sala from National Geographic, and activists, world-renowned cinematographers like Manu San Felix and Eric Higuera. And this is where I first heard about shark finning. Shark finning is a very gruesome practice of cutting off the live shark's fins and throwing the rest of the animal back in the sea, like this photo I'm showing you. When it dies a very slow, long, painful death. When sharks sleep, they don't sit down or lay down like other animals do. They continue to swim, but without their fins, they just die out. They can't survive. And it continues to happen. These shark species could further reduce their extermination. So why would anyone do this to a shark? Shark fin soup is very expensive, and fins in China and Hong Kong and used by Chinese communities elsewhere in the world had an ingredient in shark fin soup. 73 sharks had killed for 73 million sharks are killed for shark fin soup every year. A bowl of soup costs $100, which is insane. You're killing one of the most beautiful apex predators in the entire world and selling it for money. The soup is a traditional Chinese dish dating back to more than 1,000 years, and once a rare delicacy consumed by Chinese aristocracy, it played an important role in an indicator of your social status and who you were back then and how important you really were. In the past 20 years or so, the demand of shark fin soup has grown, and it's still associated with privilege with the social rank. But the explosive growth in Chinese economy means that hundreds of millions of people can now afford this luxury. And money must have important events such as weddings, birthdays, business, banquets, and Chinese New Year celebrations. So why do we need sharks? 440 species unknown of sharks. And they're so special as they're an apex predator, as I've mentioned. The process of the food chain it's incredible. They play a vital role in maintaining the health of the ocean's ecosystem. And sharks produce more oxygen than rainforests combined. And the end of sharks can mean the end of more species in the ocean overall. Um, and it's crazy. They don't get diseases like cancer. Their wounds heal faster, and many large sharks travel very vast distances alone. It's almost like a shark could travel to California all the way back to DC and the East Coast in less than a day. And it's incredible. And currently, 181 species are listed as vulnerable, endangered, or critically endangered by the International Union for Conservative Nature, or known as the IUCN. So what is being done to stop shark finning and other threats around the world? In 1999, the UN developed the International Plan of Action for the Conservative Management of Sharks, but no country is forced to participate, and progress has been slow. So lists that can be done on the side. The best solution that we have to rely on the nation in its effects is make people aware of the problem and educate them. Sharks and humans have coexisted for thousands of years. If it doesn't have the survival of the fittest, sharks should fear men more than they fear them. Shark finning has a catastrophic effect, and it continues to become the shark species could be further reduced and exterminated. While we need sharks for a sustainable ecosystem in our ocean, there are always ways to help shark population internationally and right here in the U.S. So I want to hug a shark today. This YouTube video here is just to show you a little bit more about what I talked about today. I hope you enjoyed my speech, and I hope you learned a little bit more about sharks today. Thanks, guys.